What's going on, guys? Once again, we are here with the media master himself, Jess Todtfeld. What's going on?
That's it. We'll have to do it 5 times.
I love it. What's going on, Jess?
Well, you and I are, we're both coaching each other, and you had said, oh man, there's such good content on these. We should be recording these, and some of them you have recorded, and I think you've already shared. Mm-hmm. And then in thinking about even my own branding, see, when you've coached me, sometimes I've dressed down a little bit more than all my photos, and I addressed that in one of the other ones. But you know what? I'm actually okay with it because I don't mind that people realize that I'm a human being. That sometimes today I did shave. And I'm going to put a sport coat and have this look under a sport coat, which I don't have in here. But I think on some level it's okay to be a human being. And then what I was saying right before you hit record, now today we're talking about you and your whole media look and all the cameras and all that stuff and then what you do. And I said you should always be using this angle. Partly because I'm fatigued from the other angle, and you actually have 2 computers as opposed to moving one computer from spot to spot. Mm-hmm. And I like this look. You might like working usually on that other side behind you, just working there and being able to look at all that cool stuff on the wall. I like that you have a moving screen. I like that you went and printed up 2 of those signs on there, and it's stuff to talk about. And I know you can even change cameras. But this is a great look.
Yeah, and I told you on our last call, come hell or high water, I am going to find a way to make this work. I was having some technical difficulties with my old software, but when I realized Zoom had the capabilities of doing all of this, I was like, duh, this makes this is a no-brainer. So, just to kind of show it off a little bit, it's like clicking a button, and I am now the cameraman. And so here's one of the camera angles here. We have another camera angle over here. Now I'm getting a little bit of light, and I need to adjust that a little bit because it's just a little too washed out. And then we have our other camera angle over here. Same thing. And then we bring it back to the front, which is where we'll do most of our talking and stuff. But that is, again, different than what everybody else is doing. And when everybody's zigging, I'm trying to zag. And I will say I have a neighbor who's very savvy in the audiovisual world, and he came here and basically set everything up for me by the out of the kindness of his heart. And that's how this all happens, because people ask me, like, how did you, what are the camera names? What is this? What is that? How much did it cost? This and that. It was a few $1,000s worth of equipment and time and all of that. But it's just a game changer when you go live and now you're flipping through camera angles. It's like you're at a set. So I do have an in-home studio now, which is going to be really, really cool. So hopefully we won't run into any more technical issues.
Well, that's just part of life. And then you have to figure out just how to work it into the discussion. That's, one thing we can't really count on is technology to be perfect, but we could count on ourselves at least to say something in the face of it. Mm-hmm. What do you like? What's your brand like under pressure?
Yep.
So
here's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to make this a ritual on every Jess Helps Henry call. So
that's what we call them, people. It's Henry helps Jess, Jess helps Henry.
That's it. Keeping it real simple. So on one of our last calls, you gave me a very awesome strategy to help get in front of many of the content writers, producers, a lot of people that have, a lot of access to a lot of media. And you had given me a sort of a script, if you will, a strategy, if you will, to help me get in front of these people any which way. So what I would like you to do in real time, and we're going to do this every call when we first boot up, is we're going to go through that process, and we will show the audience, if I keep saying if you will, I got to stop that. We'll show the audience exactly how we do it. And then this will keep me accountable too, because I've gotten lackadaisical with doing it. And I think with you on my ass, it's going to get done. So if you want to share screen,
and for us to come up with some story angles for you.
That's it. I'm just literally walk through it.
So now we did come up with and I'm just opening it up over here while we talk. We did come up with a story angle, and I think you said you just hadn't sent it out.
I did send it, negative response. Not negative response, but no response. Like, I got replies back. They weren't interested in the pitch.
Yes. So part of how it works is people when they do it themselves, they get discouraged because you don't do it all the time. You're not used to the fact that just because you ask somebody the first time, you're like, how about this? Nah, I'm not really sure. Or they just didn't see it, because most of the time, 90% of the people didn't open the email because they're busy, and we get all sorts of email. So they didn't see it, and then we're like, oh, they hate me, I'm going to stop. That's what most people do when they pitch themselves to the media. And then they go to a publicist, and I'm not down on publicists, but that's between $3,000 and $5,000 a month for a publicist. And then, they're only going to pitch you, to certain people, or, not a crazy amount throughout the month. And they want between 3 and 6 months, because they know they may not even get you big stuff until the 3rd month.
That's right.
And 4th month and 5th month. But most people run out of steam. So I'm going to go to share screen over here. And let's look for Google. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you pitch something basically every other week. And then on the in-between weeks, you're going to just take that same email, push it down, and say, hey, wasn't sure, did you see this email last week? Did this story work for you? That's easy, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of people who say, oh yeah, I missed it. Oh, what's that about? So here's what I do. I go to Google. You have to do it this way to get more listings. So I'm going to search for brand or branding. And we're going to do a search, but then we're going to switch from all to news, just news articles. And what we're going to do is we're using this for ideas. We're going to steal ideas. I'm going to open a Word document on my other screen over here.
Oh, look at that one. That one caught my eye right away. No brand is the new brand.
No brand is the new brand. Is that something that you recommend for your clients?
No. But it's so eye-catching.
Right.
I was like, what?
So that could be something that you could...
I mean, that's a headline for the next email that goes out. However, I'll tweak it a little bit. But, that is like, what?
Startups like Brandless and MF. Do you have any MF clients? Anyway.
Luckily, no.
By selling plainly packaged high-end staples and non-gendered bath products. Kind of like no frills. I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're trying to figure out how to make it cool. I think it's just kind of like zigging and zagging, just being a little bit different.
Right.
And if you're like, ours is the red, I don't know if this is no brand. All red or all white or all with a green is certainly a memorable brand. We're going to put no words on it. We're not going to tell you what ingredients are in there.
You're just going to drink it and die because it looks like a Clorox bottle.
Yeah. I think I just had one of these that was under the sink in my bathroom. It's a little spicy for my throat. So you could read a story and see, who would want to do. So Fast Company did this, but there are other outlets for that do stories on branding. Inc. might do a story on branding, and you could do something about how this is good or bad. You could pitch them directly. Same with, Entrepreneur or Fortune or Forbes. So I go here for ideas. But when I'm looking, because you're a busy guy, you don't really have time to pitch companies individually. So what I do is I'll send it out to between 3,000 and 6,000 media outlets. And I sell that whole list and kit that explains everything at puresecretweapons.com, and you have it. So you have all the media contacts as part of us working together. So
that's a good one.
How to craft the ideal personal user persona for your brand. So look, there's evidence. Forbes went and did this story
2 hours ago.
Now, yeah, you could look and see who did it. I mean, are they somebody who is already a contributor to Forbes? Let's continue to the article, and we're going to see, because I have a little idea how it works. Forbes Agency Council. Let's see. Well, it doesn't look like it's one of these people. I know the way it works. I have a friend who has a column here, and they contract them to do like 7 articles a month. So they're constantly looking, so they have a lot more play as far as what they can do. But if you went in here looking to see who writes on branding, who's that person, you could pitch them stories. Probably nobody's pitching them directly. That's right. At the bottom of their story often is, if I went to the end, is their email address. So that's one way in when you see a story that you like. These are, doing it directly. I'm just trying to figure a story for this week that you can, whoops, I went back too far, that you can pitch for the whole group of 3,000 or so. So it's loading up here. It's being a little slow. Here we go. Brand to menswear inspired. No, shift to new retail. How to make your company look like $100 million brand. So I would read this article. I'm going to put it in an email over here for you, because you could pitch that at any time. So again, we're just looking to get ideas. The one group that doesn't need to do it is Inc., because they did it already. But everybody else, and maybe you change a couple of the words. Right. But everybody else says, oh, I love that. And there's no reason why they can't do a similar story. Let's see here. America's best brands don't include Apple and Google anymore. Today in USA Today. Now, we could do some intel and see who do they quote in here. Because that writer, Mike Snyder, whose email address should be at the bottom here. Now they switch sometimes, and they have at Mike Snyder. Although, looking here to see, if we click email, if it actually tells me, no, it sends it through a form. But if you look up, if you did a Google search, you could figure it out. These are stories that these are companies you could write about. I never even heard of Aldi. Did you?
Oh yeah, it's like a low, it's a low cost like supermarket. It's Aldi. Yeah, they're like pop-ups all over the place, almost like a Dollar General, but a little bit better.
So we have something playing. I'll shut it over here. Hey, you're not allowed to put ads on our call here. So you could do stories. They have a lot of ads, huh? Yeah. So you could do. You could pitch stories. I mean, I think easily even just about Elon Musk and Tesla. You could pick some of these companies. How about how what Jeff Bezos' personal brand has changed in the last few years as he became the richest man in the world? I was training. So my business is media training and presentation training. I was training a client last week, and he had a slide in his PowerPoint, which was it's just Jeff Bezos looking really cool, like he was out of the Matrix or something. And he's just walking around town, sipping his coffee. And they were like, has this guy changed a little? He's becoming the richest guy in the world. And I was like, I didn't even know that. I thought it was like a motorcycle dude. I didn't know who that was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So you can do that. Stephen Hawking died yesterday. You could do something about his death. I'm sorry, about his brand. You know, that's an extension. I mean, probably they're not going to do too much, but when I think of him, I don't quite think of his brand. I think of, you know, just that he was a thought leader. So maybe that one's a little more of a stretch. But Jeff Bezos, even separate from Amazon's brand, or how about, you know, using him as a parallel between when you have a business brand and you have the you brand. Right. When are they the same? When are they not the same? When he was running Amazon from his garage, when he first started it, I don't know, maybe they were pretty similar. You know, hey, I'm a guy who helps you to, it was just books at that time. Find the best book. I'm the book guy.
So now where do we go with this? Where do we go with this? So we've now identified a topic like that headline, how to make your brand look like or business look like $100 million brand. Let's just take that one, for example, and run with it.
Well, the reason why I'm not running with it, and I'm just putting it in an email for you, is because these ones are going to take just a little extra work.
Okay.
Kind of figuring out. But, I mean, essentially, the formula is we come up with a real good hook or headline. We say who is available, that's you. And then we're going to say what you say.
Okay, let's do it.
For which one? You want to do the...
No, I mean, you find one that's going to...
$100 million brand. Well, my only hesitation is... and I guess you've studied it. I was going to say most of your clients are not $100 million brand clients.
Yep.
And I'd love something that really plays to some of your clients. So like the whole personal brand, business brand.
Well, there's one. Look at the bottom of the page. 15 ways to increase brand loyalty and retain your customer base. That's another cool one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I want to see who did this, if it's that same guy.
Snyder.
So it's interesting. It says Forbes Agency Council. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a group it's worth looking into.
Yeah.
And
I will say, you know, that there's no excuse for anybody that says, well, you know, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what my you know, I have a hard time developing content for my business or brand. I mean, my head's spinning right now when I just look at some of the things that, just looking at this article right here and scrolling down a little bit and taking one of these 15.
You have so much content. And we might do that, but what I'm looking for, the reason why I'm not jumping on these, I feel like if we send it out to the list, some people will be like, well, I don't do stories on branding. That's why I want to pick something like Amazon. Because then it's like, ooh, I'll do a story on Amazon. You just happen to be talking about branding.
See, that's why I have you coaching me. Because I would have, you know, that insight, you know, that knowledge. I don't. So
that's why we're working together today.
And that's why it's like, I have to have this guy on my team at all times, because if it's not, I would have never saw that in a million years. I would have been pitching branding stuff. And that's why it's like, why not have somebody like you here helping me figure all this stuff out in half the time, you know? So anyway, that's a little point about coaching and why coaching is so important. And you know, I'm just sitting here enamored because here I am jumping like a little kid at the lunch table, and you're like, no, my friend. Just watch the magic happen.
And that's how I feel when you were walking me through your process. Because I'm like, oh, all this stuff, I never even asked myself these questions. And, you know, I'm not paying attention to certain segments that I serve. And I could be.
Well, you know what? This goes to show you how important it is to understand what it is that your audience actually wants. So I had a colleague who worked in the branding space for years. Don't let me go off too tangent-y here, but I'm talking while you're looking. And the client said, I stopped selling branding years ago because nobody wanted it and nobody understood it. And I said, well, that's interesting. And I said, I just started positioning myself as the brand doctor and the brand strategist and all of that, because I think brand is so it's so foundational. Like without a brand, your business doesn't have a personality. It doesn't have two legs to stand on. Right. And then she also mentioned that, if you can correlate or show how branding affects your bottom line, you're going to win the hearts of everyone. And so I started doing that very, very strategically, and people are starting to really pay attention now. They're like, oh, that's what branding is? Like, right. I didn't know that. So long story short, you don't have to say branding. You can say, hey, listen, do you want more sales? Do you want more leads? Because we both know that's what our fellow entrepreneurs want in their business. And talk about that up front and then wrap it back into branding. And people are like, oh, now you got my attention.
And something everybody who's listening can do is realize that when you I think the reason why people don't move forward with someone who has a business or move forward with an offer is because they don't see the value there. They have to see the value. And when they realize it's tied to them making more money. So if I have a brand where people hear what I have to say, or, this is what I stand for, and they say, oh, I want that. Mm-hmm. It's worth it to just tighten that loop. Yep. So this guy who was trying to be a branding guy was muddling up, and I guess he was just too close to it, his own brand of being able to explain it and show the value and get people to say, got it, I see exactly why.
Yeah. Now I know why you highlighted this one.
This is a good one.
Yes, sir.
So, it's the 1-year anniversary of United Airlines dragging that guy off the plane. Remember that guy? He was squealing a little bit.
Yep.
Yep. And so they marked it by taking a dog, and I didn't read the whole article because it was upsetting, but they pushed him into the overhead compartment. That seems like a bad idea. And so let me ask you, you tell me, does United have a branding problem?
Yes.
So I did something I never did before. I took a flight a few weeks ago, and I fly, but what I did was I tweeted something that they made a mistake on. And I have the credit card for Delta and JetBlue, and I like JetBlue a lot. But I have the one that you pay for, and then there's one you pay even more for, and you get even more benefits. And I was able to get the luggage under the plane for the rest of my family. So I was like, that's worth it. And then you get lots of points and other things. So I get there, and I'm like, oh, I have this card, so we all of us get our luggage. The person's like, no, it's not in the system yet. And I was like, well, you do call whoever you have to call, but, I paid extra for this card. They're like, nope, we're charging you $25 times there were 5 of us. So, or maybe they just did charge 4 people. So I tweeted a picture of me with my thumb down saying, like, thanks a lot, JetBlue, because, you're not supposed to do this. And they went and they fixed it immediately, and then I pulled it down. So, these airlines have a brand that they need to protect. And it just seems like United Airlines is just messing up left and right. So
it's like they're all angry.
What's that?
It's like they're all angry. Like that.
That's a good thing.
You know what it is? Like that's what I'm getting. That energy's coming to me. Like they're just either they're overworked or the internal branding has a big issue. And that's why these cases are happening, because there's some sort of disconnect internally.
Yeah.
Because why is Southwest the best airline and the best user-friendly airline on the planet? Why is Virgin so popular? So there's a big problem that United needs to fix. Otherwise, they're going to be out of business.
Um, United has a big problem they need to fix, or else they will be out of business. So what you're giving me, we don't have the hook yet, but you're giving me everything that you would say.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, which is good, because what a lot of people don't know is this is what pushes it over the edge to get you booked. When I was a producer, we would have a pitch meeting and we'd say, what do you think about a story on how all these airlines are just screwing up? And maybe we have a better hook than that. They're, all right, I have a guy who can talk about it. What does he say? I don't know. All right, well, hold off.
Right, exactly. So you want me to fill in these bullet points?
Yeah, and I want to call it something like why airlines have a major branding problem on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Can you own that one?
I could, certainly.
Sweet. So, okay, so I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like a headline. Mm-hmm. And then I usually have a subhead, which is, it says here that we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary. To mark the fast approaching 1-year anniversary, I wonder what that date is. So we'll look that up later, but I'll say almost a year after a man was I like the idea of saying anniversary. At the year anniversary, because this way they'll be like, oh yeah, we should do a story. What are these airlines like a year later? Have they learned anything?
Right.
Almost at the year anniversary of a man being dragged off a United flight, airlines are still struggling to do the right thing. Right thing is to not mess up in front of the public. All right, so what are things? United has a big problem we need to fix, or else they'll be out of business. What else?
There's a disconnect internally at these airlines. The culture, the internal culture. The company culture.
Sure, needs to change. Now, as a branding guy, what can you say brand-wise about their brand?
So branding is the gut feeling that you get when you interact with a brand or a business, right? So right now, there's this. What was the gut feeling that I just mentioned? It was this angry feeling. These flight attendants. I could almost, if you really want to be a little nutty, you'd say these flight attendants need anger management training, right? It might be a little harsh, or empathy training if you want to soften it a little bit.
That I like both because it's a soundbite element. I'll tell you in a second. These flight attendants might need or at the very least empathy training. So good. What else?
We got 2 more spots, huh?
What does
this mean? So my question is, what does this mean for United's reputation in the future? I heard about this yesterday on Facebook. One of my friends has 2 she's a dog lover. She's got 2 French bulldogs, and she said she took an article that she found about the incident. And her first words were, "I am never flying United again."
Yep.
That's a big issue.
Sweet.
Right.
That's probably enough unless you have one more that you'd like to bring up.
Well, without a customer-centric position, United is in for a rocky, or I should say a turbulent future.
Now, you don't even realize how good these two sound bites are.
No, I don't.
You have no idea. When you go to my class next month, and I'll make sure that you get the information. I'm going to just freaking resend the book today that never got to you. I'm like, son of a month ago we sent it.
Yeah.
And I did it the slow way because I wanted you to see like how I brand, the thing I sent, where I would have just sent it to you off of Amazon because I know it'd get to you like that.
Yeah.
But both in the book and the class, I basically figured out what makes an answer pop to them. And for, say, print, they're looking for something that's quotable. For the evening news, they're looking for just that one answer, that soundbite, that chunk that they take out. For new magazines, they're just quoting you. So anger management, there's conflict in that. It's a pop culture phrase. It's makes you laugh. These are three elements all in one that make them go, oh, I gotta run with that. United is in for a turbulent future. So I'm gonna bold that. I just want it to stand out. So these are really good sound bites.
So today's big takeaway for me, is understanding and seeing a sound bite when I see one. Like, for the purpose of this call, the purpose of this training call, it's obviously showcasing to our audience a cool strategy on how to create content and get it pitched to media outlets that would potentially pick up your story. That's one part of it. But for me and you, for me, right, is understanding the power of sound bites and quotable quotable lines or quotable one-liners, right? So, as you're writing this, I was thinking, now I take this 10 steps further and I say to myself, what's my topic on Facebook going to be about today? Why not it be United and them killing a dog?
Right.
I wonder if people are, and my headline for the Facebook Live is going to be United Airlines is in for a turbulent future. It has nothing to freaking do about branding, but I'm going deep into branding in that live.
It's good. It'll be good. Yes, you could definitely use, I have my list of sound bites, but you already have them brewing in you.
Yes.
And, some of it is mixing in a pop culture phrase, definitely when there's conflict there.
So
analogies.
What makes a great sound bite?
So, and I have a whole routine that I do on it, which I might just send you a video that shows video examples of it. It's like a 20-minute video. But so essentially when I worked in television, we would get a tape of somebody we interviewed, and somebody would say, like, go to the edit room and go look for a soundbite. We're going to pull a couple of sound bites and put it in. And no one ever asked or explained to us what it is we were looking for. We just said, I know it when I hear it. So we would just sit there and we'd listen. And then all of a sudden the guy who's talking about, United's third quarter earnings did this and da-da-da, and last year, and all of a sudden you hear, look, these flight attendants need anger management training. You're like, whoa, that's good. Whoa, pull that out. So no one explained to us what the heck it was. So when I left, I had to reverse engineer and say, okay, so what were we looking for? So I boiled it down to about 14 different elements that can help other people to create sound bites, which you can get in the book Media Secrets, a media training crash course. And which if only there was a copy to go by. Anyway, so.
Oh, you're the best.
So the 14 elements, we just talked about some of them. I want to go deeper with you on the other ones. I want to get this thing done so that you can email it out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're already showing that you can write some of these. And they're grabbers, too, for headlines. I mean, they show up in headlines. For most people being interviewed, we're creating our own quotes. Right. But it works for headlines, too. So let's just get this done here. So you're going to write hi. You're going to insert your first name code. Mm-hmm. You send this thing out today?
I will.
Okay. You uploaded all those contacts?
They're in.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So does this story work for you? Usually I just leave it at that. But I wanted to add, we're coming up on a year since United dragged a passenger off the plane. Yesterday, a dog died because of their actions. Henry.
We should say a passenger's dog died.
What's that?
A passenger's dog died.
Oh, yes. That's good. Let's see. Yesterday, yep. Why or I?
I, my friend.
I was like, wait, no, I have to. Okay, so, actually, we're going to write this down below.
Okay.
So now it looks, above the line, looks like a short email. Hey, I wanted to see if you like this story.
Correct.
They're like, what story?
Correct.
And available. Henry Kaminski. AKA the branding doctor.
Or the brand.
What?
The brand doctor.
Oh, yeah, the brand doctor. And slash, we call it president of Unique Designz.
You could say CEO, yeah.
Good, yeah, I like CEO better. CEO, comma. Inc.
You could just leave the Unique Designz.
Just leave. Okay. All right. So, now often what I do is I put a bio link here. So if they really want to say who is this guy? Do you have a page you could link to?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you make that a clickable link.
Okay.
And then right here, what Henry can say about United and this. We'll just leave it at that. And then, so the thing is to make it just easily eyeballable.
Yes.
Now this is probably enough. Oh, we also need contact information. So you're going to put here, available for interviews.
You want to put junior, I think, just to.
You know what? If they go and book you, let's do that.
Okay.
If we're gonna write it here, we should write it here.
Yeah.
And we could.
No, that's all
you
right.
always go by that. I just don't want them to think
well,
that your son is answering the phone.
Right. So just leave it. I'm gonna follow. I'm following your lead.
Yeah, because they'll be like, oh, his son who can't speak yet.
There you go. Perception. Perception, exactly.
Right.
Everything matters.
So you put your cell there.
Yep.
Email.
Yep.
And is there a main line that's different?
No.
Just so in case we want to look bigger. Now, you fill those in. So we know the who, what, when, where, why, and how. We know what is the story, who is available, what will he say, when is he available now, why it's the story that's being pitched. So we got all of those answered. So this thing is good. So I'm going to email it to you.
Yeah.
And send this out. Now, if they don't answer, and we're going to have to look up and see when the anniversary is. We're
Right.
gonna probably send it. Oh, and by the way, the subject line is really important too.
Right.
So I'm going to write in the subject line that I'm sending it to you, story, pitch, United. I don't want to write kills dog in the subject line, so I'll say United Air major brand problem 1 year after dragging incident. So that's going to get them to open it up.
Right.
Because they'll be like, oh yeah, and they know it's a story pitch. If it doesn't say story pitch : it could be anything. Could be, Viagra ads.
Right.
I'm kind of happy they stopped sending those to me. I don't think I get those. They get filtered out. My friend used to say, why do they keep targeting me? How do they know?
That's hysterical.
Is there something on my phone that sends out a thing? So I'm going to write here, other stories. I'm going to send you the other ones that we had. It goes look back. Okay, so you have this.
Right.
And this, yeah. Oh, I want to search and see what, and I'll take 1 or 2 minutes to talk about your cameras again. But I want to say United dragging anniversary. I want to see what the date is.
Okay. Because we're still on this email, you want to bring us over to Safari? Sure we can.
Yeah, I'll bring you over to that. Share screen.
Oh, you got dual screens. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, and then this way I'll just see what image. I have way too many. Here we go. This way it'll look at the right thing. So you can look. I think it was April.
Yeah. So it's
which means you got to look. You got some legs on this one.
Mm-hmm.
They may look at this, and and you should actually do a little more searching on United now, because it says the internet is trolling United so hard right now. Oh, this was last year.
Mm-hmm. I seen it yesterday, though. It's happening. Yeah, my friend said, I'm never going again. I'm never flying United again.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they had an issue after 9/11 when they were targeted by terrorists as an American company. But anyway, so this means that you have a few weeks even to push on this story.
Right.
So we'll definitely push today. I would say on Monday you sent another one just saying, wasn't sure if you saw this last week. Did this story work?
Yeah, you could stop shared screen.
We'll stop that.
Okay.
So good. Send that out today. So the thoughts on this is, here's what I wanted to see you do. Because the thought with all your cameras is to mix it up, be different.
Right.
So for that camera that's on your left shoulder,
right,
widen it out all the way. Can you get up and go talk over by that camera, or are you too far from the microphone?
Yeah, so if I were to do this, it's going to be, you're going to hear the difference, right? So if I come over here, right?
Yeah, but look at the camera.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the camera. You hear the echo, right?
I do, but I want to take a screenshot. So hold on here. Hold on, we're going to do. And 1, 2, 3. Sweet. Well, I guess you'd have to have a big lavalier mic. I love that we could see the dog in this shot.
Canella came in. He's always trying to steal the show. So
I know, it's perfect. It's, everybody needs an Ed McMahon. and yours never interrupts.
Never.
Not with words, anyway.
Never. So one of the things is, again, a dynamic approach to video.
Yeah.
Right. Again, if you're just starting out, this is way too advanced. So you got to start. Yeah, you got to start. You got to start somewhere.
This is like 10 feet, and I have this little lavalier mic.
Yeah, I got a massive one here. I mean, this one goes really far.
So the thing is, you could, if you wanted, you could stand up, move around, because you're a guy that I had once said to you, we're like containing you in this chair.
Mm-hmm.
And part of why I even have this background, I actually have a new one coming today.
Nice.
Yeah, I couldn't resist. And but I've had that one for so long that if my son, who's 17, ever sees it in a video, he like loses it. He's like, enough with that. It's so terrible. It's like there's a green screen behind it. You could have any background in the world. And he's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thought was that I could, not with the door exactly, but that I could move around.
Yeah.
Got the odd air light over there. And move around and show more of my personality and do this, do that. And I've actually taken the computer and moved it here so you can see backwards and my other screen where I put something over my shoulder like you have right now behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So at the very least, play with this shot. You can move back slightly too, so it's not just all head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to decide if that mic in front of you is the best, because I got the tiny bit lower back here versus clipping something on.
Right. So I have to work with this iris here because that's bothering me.
Yeah. So mess with that.
There's got to be something on the camera that I can play with that'll make that happen. So, but this seems to be the real clean look for today, and we kept this shot, pretty tight for most of the call. But
yeah, it's good, and you can put different things behind you. I can't really read it today, and you may have to adjust the iris or play with something that doesn't have white in it.
Yeah.
But it's because it's moving, it's different and interesting.
Yeah. Well, here's the takeaways from today's call, and I want to wrap this up. One is obviously, and we talked about this last week, it's video composition fatigue and making sure that you kind of continue to change it up so people don't get tired of it, right? The second thing is the strategy to get in front of more media contacts. So formulating exactly how we did it by going to Google News, by writing out that email the way we wrote it out, identical. I mean, guys, we're giving you the template to do this. All you have to do is do it, right? And, you may not have 6,000 contacts like I do, but you can take this same framework and start doing it individually and creating your own list, creating your own source of contacts, right? And then the last part that we talked about was really understanding what a good sound bite is and how important it is to grab those sound bites. Sound bites are headlines. They're audio headlines, if you will. It's something that someone could grab onto and gravitate towards and talk about, right? So those are huge takeaways today. And again, if it wasn't for the meteor master himself, I'd still be here talking about branding, because that was another, we kind of snuck that one in, but a lot of times what you might be positioning yourself as or trying to talk about because it's your expertise may not be interesting to your audience. However, when I start talking about United later, I'm going to get a lot of dog lovers on that live, I'm sure. Then we're going to get a lot of people that travel on that as well. And we're going to have a nice little discussion on what United's going to do. And I'm sure it's going to get heated. But then we wrap it into branding, and we wrap it into how branding will affect your bottom line. And you got a nice piece of content there.
It's good stuff.
There you go.
It was a good one today.
Awesome. So,
all right.
There you go, guys. Once again, Jess, thank you so much for all of your insight and knowledge. It is priceless. It is priceless.